Vibes, where the bass is deep, the vibes are high, and the wisdom is real.
We're two black mature ravers who are married and here to talk about all things rave culture, like sustainability, wellness, and keeping the energy alive no matter your age.
From festivals to fashion, mindsets to music, relationships to rave aftercare, we've got you covered.
So whether you're an OG raver in the scene or just discovering the magic, join the Vibe Tribe and let's keep the rhythm going.
Welcome to Two Balanced Vibes. I'm Tim.
And I'm Lauren. Before we get started, I want to thank everyone who's watched and given feedback. We're back at our original set. We've got our spray cans, and we're ready to go. What are we talking about today?
Today we're going to be talking about raving as a spiritual practice.
Yes. I don't know about you, but I feel like raving has enhanced my spiritual practice immensely.
How?
Well, okay, so like, I don't know, the experience of like getting lost in the music and really just kind of getting stuck in the moment has been really exciting for me, and it transcends time. I've always been a big partier. But raving is even different because for me, I don't know about for you, I feel like I can be more authentically myself. So I enjoy raving, and I feel like it enhances me as far as who I am and how my spiritual and mental health and development. What about you?
For me, it kind of changed how I viewed a lot of things. It took, like you, I was a big partier, and we did a lot of different things. But when I started to rave, for me, it kind of gave me a peace of mind. I too got lost in the music, but for the first time in my life, I was able to just let go, not worry about what's going on around me, not worrying about what I'm wearing, not worrying about how I'm looking, not worrying about who's there, any of it.
I want to ask you something.
What's that?
So the next thing I'm going to talk about is probably going to be like the spiritual rave events, because there are several people that do it, but have you been to any that you feel are like specifically have a spiritual context?
I would probably say the closest one is the extension?
The Static Dance.
Yeah, Static.
The one on Venice Beach.
Venice.
I can see that.
That one, I say that because they give you a lot of time to just kind of zone out.
And they also kind of have that space for like, let's stretch, meditate, and be mindful. There's a lot of mindfulness practices, and it's more of honoring how you feel in the moment. They always speak to that, so I could see that.
Yeah. So for me, that's probably been the biggest one that I've been to.
And the others are just like you have moments.
Yeah. And I think at all of the events that we go to, there are times when you, myself, other people, we all have those moments where we take a moment and we just breathe in.
Gratitude, feeling good, all the above.
All of that. And it becomes you become a little bit more thankful for the experiences. You become a little bit more aware of your surroundings, of who you are as a person. At least that's how it worked for me. You know, I'll be honest. My first rave that I went to, it moved me. It literally was like, wow, it was such a eye-opening experience, and it was almost emotional, you know. And I saw people.
Yeah, we've seen people get really emotional. Yeah, and it feels like they're almost
crying.
Pushing through something that they mentally, emotionally, or spiritually were working through, or they feel so connected that is emotional for them. I've seen that as well.
100%.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes, you know, especially depending on who you're listening to at that moment. You know, I remember my first event that I went to, you know, and I'll talk about that later in a different episode, but the group was above and beyond, and they were like amazing. And the album at that time that they had just released, man, you talking about speaking to me? The music, it was talking to me. It was directly, but the crazy part about it is that as I looked around, it was almost like a group thing. It was almost like they wasn't just talking to me, they were talking to all of us.
Yeah.
And it was like mind-boggling to me. I never had that type of. I've been to hundreds of concerts, you know, but to have that type of experience was something that was brand new to me.
Well, so I also want to consider this. When you're raving, like especially us, we're raving in a way that betters us as human beings. So of course that's going to affect us spiritually. The physical demand of raving requires us to stay in our best shape, right?
100% concert.
But also you got to think about mindset. In order to be in a crowd that big, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With all these people and everybody's doing their own thing, you need to be in a positive headspace. You don't want to show up and be not good.
I agree.
You know?
Sometimes, you know, and I've been. That's something I had to work on.
Yeah.
I'll be completely honest.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get bumped. You're gonna get people may step on your feet.
Yeah.
You know, everyone, especially when I first started raving, the scene was so incredibly plural.
Yeah.
That was another part of it that just like blew me away was how nice and how considerate everyone were at that time.
That's true.
You know, today it's a
Not
little less,
like,
it's not quite as much. So once again, you know, taking that moment to just be, to exist, it's a big part of it.
And also, so like for me, the way that Rave Spiritually connect me is that I can be the most authentic version of myself. I can show up exactly how I am, exactly how I'm feeling, exactly how I want to move. Right. And for me, that was hyper liberating. But then to also connect with you and to be able to connect with you and it never to be a weird or awkward thing. Right. You know what I mean? Because in some parties you go to and everybody's just throwing ass and like, you know what I mean? Like, we're just going to rub on each other the whole time. Like, no, but you give me the freedom to be me and to give me space to be me. And so for me, that adds to the spiritual experience of raving.
Well, of course, you know, as I sit back, you know, adding you to my rave life, it was definitely different. I already had a rave family, you know, and in that means the people who I care about, you know, we look out for one another, we look after one another, and make sure we're good.
Yeah.
You know, very protective of one another as well. Adding you to that mix, you know, it brought a different type of protection, number one, but it also brought me a different type of calmness, you know, and, you know, I enjoy.
And more eyes. What are they doing? He's got his shirt off. She's doing her thing. Look what they're doing.
True. But also, sometimes I get lost in watching you. I marvel in watching you do your thing. That's really sweet. You know, and I'm so happy that I get to share that part.
Yeah.
You know, one of my close friends, you know, he told me before anything about, you know, you need someone who can rave with you.
Oh yeah, we've had that conversation with several of our raver friends, and they're like, if she don't rave or if he don't rave, I don't know about that.
You know, because like for us, you know, and I'm not saying this is for everyone, but for us, it's very much a lifestyle. It's a choice. It's, you know, we eat healthy, we exercise a lot, we work hard at evolving.
This is true.
So that our mindsets, they're where they need to be. Yeah. Our physical is where it needs to be, so that we can enjoy our raves at the highest level.
Yeah. And raving at home helps too. We have to say it. We have to say raving at home.
Always helps.
So I do want to switch gears and start talking a little bit about these different events. And so since we are talking about mindset and your vibe and everything, I want to say that before I mention these, the little caveat is that some of the festivals or the events that I'm going to mention are, how can I put it, assisted by microdosing of the mushrooms or different types of mild, very mild, not talking about going on a crazy psychedelic journey, but mild psychedelics. Now, Am I recommending anything illegal? No, because there are legal mushroom psychedelics, and this is something that I'm learning a lot about and something that I hope to do more content on because it's like a new passion of mine. I love mushrooms. And I mean, even if we're talking about lion's mane, like the difference in how I've been able to focus in on things and have like a brain fog lifted, mushrooms are very good. So I'm just going to put that as a caveat. So I'm going to take a look at my list here. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and read it. So the first event that I want to talk about is called Hypnotic. It's in Denver. It's advertised as a mushroom ceremony, sound healing, and a dance. It's by RM Method and Alchemia Euphoria. Their whole platform is based about music and healing and dance, right? So we didn't talk about this, but the getting lost in the music is only part of it. It's the lingo and the way that the songs speak so positively, right? Yeah. It's not having a cycle of, I think music is kind of like a spell, right? These are words. So it's not having negative connotations. It's having actually blasting you with positive connotations. And there's ways that other artists, and we'll get into it, add to that. So that's one of them. Another is called Pyramid Party by Seven Sisters. It's a 7-hour celebration in Berlin.
That sounds dope.
Oh,
that
yes.
Sounds dope.
It looks amazing. Like I'm like, man, I've never been to Berlin. You've been to Berlin?
I haven't been to Berlin. You know, as we talk about some of the events that we go to or some that we've been to, you know, we've hit a lot of events, especially the SoCal events.
Yeah.
We've hit events in North America. I think it's now, you know, we're going to start more international events.
Maybe not. We'll see how Tomorrowland goes, but also definitely trying some of these events that are a little more focused on growth, because partying is fun, and part of the reason we do it is because we grow, but we want to also maybe tap into that. I know I'm interested in tapping into that energy as I learn more about mushrooms.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about the healing music, okay? So I'm going to say that there's music that's specifically geared at like spiritual and emotional healing and growth. And when I say psychological, I don't mean like psytrance or like, you know what I mean? Like, progressive trance. I'm not talking about that, but sometimes the music is psychological and it gets you in a trance, okay? So there are several artists out there that do that. And I mentioned before Alchemia, Euphoria, and RM Method, and I'll link it here. They do that really well. But then also there's a local artist, because we don't talk enough about locals. Lincoln Jesser. I don't know if you've heard of him before. He might have red hair. It might be brown. And it's kind of like little cute little curly fro. Okay. And his music is the beats per minute, the sounds. You know, it's kind of like if you think about when you go to Las Vegas and they have all those machines queued up to make a noise that just resonates with you. I'm not saying it's like a slot machine, but it's supposed to have resonance in order to help to heal you emotionally and spiritually, right? And then his BPMs and then his frequency, the specific frequencies. That's what I'm trying to say, the frequencies. Okay. The frequencies are the sound, the healing frequencies. So if you've ever done a sound healing, he's using those same frequencies, that specific hertz that are healing. Okay. And so, like, I think that this is an interesting arena that we haven't really tapped into too much as ravers, but I think it's interesting. And if the words are positive and it is bumping, why not heal and get your groove on?
I 100% agree.
Yes.
Like I said, in my first one, the first experience I had that was extremely emotional, extremely moving for me was Above and Beyond. When the very first time I saw them, you know, their music was so positive. The words up on the screen that they were putting up, the visuals was extremely positive. And like I said, for me at that particular time, it spoke to me in a way that, you know, I grew up listening to music. I grew up being around music, you know, even being a part of it where I produced music, I even performed. But man,
that was the first time that you felt that.
That was the first time that I ever felt.
And that's the transformative property of music. But if we're not doing that, what are we doing?
Exactly.
If we're tearing each other down, what are we doing? So Before we get out of here, I do want to have a conversation about this Sarah Landry video that recently came out. So Coachella passed, and after she got back home, she felt like, okay, it's a mixed crowd. It's ravers. It's also a music festival, right? And she posted the whole little speech. I think it was a live, so it's like multiple parts. And she's giving education on Plur. You should definitely check it out on IG. And most of what she said, I completely agreed with. And some of the things she said, I didn't 100% agree with, but I respect that she's at least trying to put that education out there. So that's something that I think you should, take a look at.
I hear you.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think for what she was saying, I understand where she's coming from. Like I said, over the years, the Plur side has diminished quite a bit. That being said,
What do you think about the Coachella not being Plur?
well, to me, Coachella is not a Plur festival. So you don't expect that. I wouldn't go in there expecting it. I wouldn't go in there if that's not.
I think her point, though, sorry to cut you off, was that we all could have a better experience if we're kinder to one another.
Oh, there's no question about that. And I agree with that.
And if we treat ourselves well and we do all the things that Plur represents, respect, love, like all of the things.
Right. But, to be perfectly honest, is that, Coachella is more of a mainstream concert.
Music
Music festival.
Yeah.
And with not everyone, but you attract more,
Just regular Joes.
not even regular Joes, because even regular Joes are polite, but you're gonna get your share of not nice people.
Not nice. Not nice.
There's other terms I can use, but I'm gonna stick with the term not nice.
Jerks. I'll call them jerks.
Okay.
It's middle ground. But let me put this out there. So at Coachella, I saw this recent post that Stagecoach, I'm not saying Coachella, at Stagecoach, in one day, they drank more than an entire weekend of Coachella. So that tells me that, that's more of a concert crowd, and Coachella's more ravers, because ravers don't really drink like that. We know that we can't sit out there all day and just keep pounding the beers. It's not going to work.
Well, at Coachella, I think everyone, only rookie concert goers, are only really young people who've never experienced being out in that hot sun and having
Palm
drinks.
Springs.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It only takes you one time.
And those boots to your kneecaps.
Yeah. It only takes you one time to go out there and get drunk in 95-degree heat.
This is fair. This is fair.
After that,
Yeah.
and the good thing about that is that other people are going to tell you, hey, you don't want to do that. Slow down.
Well, at a rave, but at Stagecoach, maybe not. I don't know. I've never been.
I've
Can't
never been
judge.
to Stagecoach.
Yeah. Or Coachella.
Or Coachella.
Maybe next year.
Maybe.
But I don't do well with dust, so we'll have to see. I have to have the right setup.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Absolutely.
I just wanted to bring it up. I thought it would be interesting as something to talk about for Plur this week, and I'm good. You good?
I'm good.
I guess we're all set. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Peace.